Good morning.
Good.
Hello, good morning.
Apologize, I was hung up in a commissioner's court meeting. Finally got rid of the 4 commissioners. I didn't mean to say it like that. Or maybe I did.
No worries.
All right, Chambers County Probate Court come to order. I need you, anyone that's going to testify, if you'll, who's clerk is on?
Robin's in there somewhere and Melinda just joined.
Okay, give us a minute. Let's get the clerk in, then we'll swear you all in. It says, Melinda, can you hear me?
Melinda shows being muted. Melinda, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So you don't have your camera on?
I
You
don't
didn't
know.
put makeup on this morning or what?
I didn't.
I couldn't do anything with my hair, but I still got mine on.
Well, Austin, turn me on. You can hear me though, right?
We can hear you. You're good. All right. If everyone's going to testify, we'll raise your right hand, please.
Okay, do y'all swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today for this is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. All right, cause number 21, CPR 0072. State of Michael, excuse me. The applicant's Michael Lynn Fullen. What's the name on the state, Melinda? They didn't print them.
Oh, it's the guard. It's Mr. Dawson.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. It's a guardianship,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir. Guardianship.
probate guardianship of a minor. How you doing, Dick?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. You
Yes,
may
sir.
proceed, sir.
Judge, we're here on the guardianship of Brandon Michael Fullen, and I have the dad here. Michael, would you say hello, please?
Hello.
Okay, and you're there with your wife. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you are the mom and dad of the child. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the doctor said it would not be appropriate for the minor child, Brandon Michael Fullen, to participate. Is that right?
Correct.
And you're asking for the court for you and your wife, Cynthia, to be appointed guardian of your child. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And the name of the child is Brandon Michael Fullen, correct? Can you hear me?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and I'm going to, he goes by Brandon or Michael?
Brandon.
Okay, and Brandon, you represent to the court that Brandon is incapacitated and unable to take care of himself and manage day-to-day living, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And the name of the doctor is the Dr. Sampson, right? Sparkman, right? And you've submitted a doctor's letter to corroborate the guardianship and the incapacity of your son, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And he's unable to drive a car, is that right?
Correct.
It would be certainly unsafe for that to occur, is that right?
Yes.
And he's unable to take care of the activities of daily living, is that right?
Yes.
And he's not able to manage the day-to-day activities that we do independently without any thought, is that right?
Correct.
And you're asking the court that not only that he not be authorized to drive, but to vote in an election or to carry a handgun or to make decisions of residency, is that right?
Yes.
And you have sought alternatives to this guardianship. You have sought alternative support, alternative services that would be in the best interest of your son, but you've found none that are reasonable and feasible. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And your son Brandon suffers from autism spectrum disorder as well as intellectual disability. Is that right?
Yes,
And that precludes him from doing and engaging day-to-day activities that a normal person would do. Is that right?
correct.
And he has no assets. In other words, you're asking for a guardianship of the person only. Is that right?
Correct. He has no ass.
And and he's lived with you all his entire life. Is that correct?
Yes,
And how old is he?
17,
And when will he be 18?
September 3rd of this year.
Okay, and neither you or your wife has been have had any trouble with the law. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you're well qualified to serve not only as guardian, but as your role as father and mother. Is that correct? You're asking the court to be appointed co-guardian. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. The ad litem is Miss Nelson. I'd pass the witness at this time.
Counselor,
Judge, I have no questions for this witness.
thank you. Mr. Ellis.
Okay, and I would now call Cynthia Fullen. Cynthia?
Yes,
and
sir.
You're the mother of this child, is that right?
That's correct.
Now, I
Right.
understand we have one other child who is an adult that would be a half-brother of Brandon, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And his name is
Brant.
Michael Chase Fullen, is that right?
That's correct.
And so far as you know, he was apprised of this proceeding, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're asking the court to be appointed co-guardian of your son Brandon, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So with respect to the other questions that I've asked your husband, would your responses be the same?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I pass the witness.
Counselor,
Your Honor, I think he's covered everything. I have no further questions for this witness as well.
okay, Mr. Dawson.
Your Honor, I respectfully request that you admit what I'm going to refer to as Exhibit 1, the doctor's letter to substantiate the child has an intellectual disability for which this guardianship is necessary. Secondly, I'd ask that the bond be in a minimal amount and that Michael Lynn Fullen and Cynthia Emery Fullen be appointed co-guardian of their 17-year-old child, Brandon Michael Fullen. That's all I have, Judge.
Ms. Nelson,
Yes, Your Honor, I'll just say that I concur with Mr. Dawson on the bond amount. I have reviewed the file. He has followed all the requirements insofar as notices and whatnot to all the applicable people. I believe also that there is no viable alternative to this guardianship. I've met with the proposed board, also the proposed are the applicants in this matter. Brandon is well taken care of at their home, and he does not have any objection to the appointment of his parents as his guardian. I've also spoken to the treating physician, and again, just to confirm, there was no alternative to this guardianship, and the treating physician obviously concurred with that as well. So I'd ask the court to approve that application.
thank you, Counselor. All right, accept Exhibit 1 into the records and approve the, did you say the guardianship was just the person?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'd ask a minimum bond, Judge.
Yeah, and I'm gonna approve the guardianship of the person and with a $50 bond.
Thank you, John. We'll get that
Thank you.
oath in and the bond.
Thank you, sir.
Judge, there is one more thing I forgot.
Go ahead.
Small thing. We did agree on a fee. I did.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah. Also,
No problem, Judge. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and y'all have agreed to the fee? So,
Yes.
all right, thank you. Thank you all. Have a good day. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
All right, cause number 21, CPR 0092. The state of Zachary Miles. Excuse me. Mr. Detta, good morning.
Morning, Your Honor. And also have Mr. Carl Long and the applicant present. Maybe we can see. Your Honor, if I could just give just a brief background.
Yes.
The applicant, Ms. O'Keefe, is a creditor and claimant against the estate of Zachary Miles, deceased, and therefore she's an interested person for purposes of making application for the appointment of an administrator of Mr. Miles's estate. And in this case, we're asking for the appointment of a third-party administrator. Mr. Miles died more than 2 years ago, and no other interested person has come forward to open his estate or offer a will for probate. Our understanding is that Mr. Miles was not married, had no children, and according to an online obituary, he was survived by his parents, Renee Norman and Gerald Norman. But after we served them with the application for the appointment of an administrator, they filed a response saying that they were not the decedent's parents or related to him at all. So we were then able to identify the decedent's birth mother, Miss Ingrid Flewellen, who I see is on the screen this morning, although I'll see her name, but I don't see the video. Anyway, we served her. She filed a response pro se saying that she could act as the administrator if necessary, but she didn't oppose a third-party administrator. And so with that background, I would just like to call the applicant, Ms. Shannon O'Keefe.
You may proceed, Council.
Okay, Ms. O'Keefe, would you state your name, please?
Shannon O'Keefe.
And Ms. O'Keefe, you are the applicant for the appointment of a third-party administrator of the estate of Zachary Miles. Is that correct?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, Mr. Miles died on June 23rd, 2019 at the age of 28. Is that correct?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, Mr. Miles was a resident of Chambers County, Texas. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. O'Keefe, you were involved in an accident where two boats collided and you were one of the passengers and Mr. Miles was one of the drivers of one of the boats. Is that correct?
Yes.
And as a result of that accident, you filed a lawsuit against the Zachary Miles estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you understand, however, that that lawsuit cannot proceed unless an administrator of the Zachary Miles estate is appointed to accept service and defend the estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you therefore believe that there is a necessity for the administration of the Zachary Miles estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to pass the witness. I see Ms. Savage, who made an appearance in the case, is also on the screen. I didn't know if she had any questions for this witness.
Savage?
Judge, I just made an appearance to kind of see what happens. I had filed a response for the Normans. They were served as the parents and they're not related to him. And that's the only reason I'm here. I don't have any questions around.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, we're not aware of the full extent of the property that belongs to Mr. Miles's estate, but I believe his mother, again, Miss Ingrid Flewellen, she had mentioned that she believes there is at least one bank account at Mount Bellevue Bank and a vehicle. And other than that, I'm not sure what else is there. And if you have questions about the lawsuit in particular, Your Honor, Mr. Long is here, and I would defer to him if you do.
I don't know that I need any particulars this time. I'm going to approve the dependent administration, and I will appoint. I'll let you know who that's going to be. I will appoint that third party administrator in the case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Council?
That's it. And I guess for purposes of the bond, again, I wasn't sure what Your Honor would set as a minimum bond, maybe just because we don't know the extent of any other property.
Okay. Well, it's a dependent So I don't know that there needs to be much of a bond at all with a third-party administrator. But we can go ahead and, you say there's a vehicle and a bank account?
Yes,
I'll set $100 bond just to have a bond amount. And if the third-party administrator finds there's more that needs to be covered, we'll take care of that at that time.
thank you.
Mr. Long, anything?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Counselor?
That's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Number 21, CPR 0096, the state of Ernestine K. Kreitzer Watson. Ms. Nelson, good morning again.
Good morning again.
You may proceed.
Good morning.
All right. So, Your Honor, we filed an application for a will to be admitted as a muniment of title only. So I'll call my first witness, who's the applicant. This Watson Gilbert, please state your full name.
My name is Amber K. Watson Gilbert.
And did your mother, who is Ernestine K. Kreitzer Watson, die on or about July 15th of 2021?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Gilbert, can you turn the phone where I can see you, please? Or computer or whatever you want.
Can you see me now?
Maybe I'm looking at.
It's under.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, it's under.
Case's mom, right? Is that? Okay, go ahead.
Should I proceed?
Can you see me
ma'am.
now?
No, ma'am.
It's freezing.
Unless it's freezing. Oh, I don't see your mouth moving. Is that you right there with the blue and white striped shirt?
Yes, sir.
All right, your mouth's not moving, so it's just freezing up. You may proceed.
Okay.
I see you smiling though.
Okay. Again, your mother passed away on July 15th of 2021 in Anahuac Chambers County. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
To your knowledge, did she pass away without revoking the will that we have filed with this court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were there any children born to or adopted by her after she executed that will?
No, ma'am.
And at the time of the execution of the will, she was of sound mind and over the age of 18. Is that correct?
You're cutting out, Miss Gilbert.
I'll re-ask the
Can
question.
you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead, Miss Nelson.
Was your mother over the age of 18 and of sound mind when she signed that will?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she did not get divorced after signing that will either. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And the state of Texas, there's no, the devotee under that will is not the state of Texas or a charity. It is in fact her children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at the time that she passed away, she owned some property in Chambers County, and you're filing this will in order to transfer that interest as per the terms of the will. You're not asking the court to open any kind of administration, just to accept the will. Is that correct? And
That is correct.
right. You were actually acting under your mother's power of attorney for a little bit before she passed away. Is that correct?
I was.
Okay. So you are familiar with her assets and debts. You were able to investigate those things and you have knowledge of those things, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she didn't, so you are aware that there are no debts? Excuse
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
Okay. And you're also aware that she did not receive Medicare benefits during her lifetime. Is that right?
No, she didn't.
Okay. So you're asking the court to accept this will as a muniment title and to accept the will as well. Judge, there is one little caveat to this particular will that was filed of record, and I have another witness here if you want me to take her up. It is the person who was the notary. This will was self-proved. There were 3 witnesses. There was a notary present. She did sign the notary, but she did not, I'm sorry, there was a stamp on it, but the notary did not sign it. So I didn't know if that would be a problem with you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hear her testimony, please.
Okay, then I have no further questions for this witness. And then I will call the second witness, who is my notary. And ma'am, would you please state your full name? That would be Gail.
I see Gail. Can't hear her, but I see her.
I believe she's on the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Gail, you were present when Miss Ernestine Kate Kreitzer Watson signed her final will, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You were present when the witnesses also signed as witnesses for that will, is that correct?
That's correct.
You are a licensed notary here in the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you in fact did attach your stamp to this will, is that correct?
That's correct.
You did not sign it, and that would probably, I assume, be only because there was not a signature line on the document and you weren't aware that you had to.
Well, I was aware of it. It was just, I just overlooked it.
Yes, ma'am. But again, you were present. You did all of the, you were able to satisfy all your requirements as a notary as far as being identifying who the witnesses were, and also Miss Kreitzer. Is that Miss Watson? Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's all I have for this witness, Sean.
Okay. All right, I hereby approve the probate of the will as a muniment of title. Thank you, ladies. Have a good day.
Thank you, Judge. You too.
All right, cause number 97, State of Sharon Louise Parker. Mr. Baker, good morning. You're muted, Richard. I tried to mute you before. It never worked, but it is now.
About
There you
now.
go. I can hear you now.
All right, I have Jennifer up front. I picked up the COVID, so I'm at the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm at the back of my office, and my witnesses are at the front of my office.
Okay.
Okay.
See you, Council.
All right, Jennifer, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, have you been sworn?
Yes. Yes.
All right, you are Jennifer Andrews Wilson, is that correct?
Yes.
And you've applied to have your mother's will probated as a muniment of title only, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and your mother was Sharon Louise Parker, and she was born October 22nd, 1957 in Beaumont, Texas, and died on or about 14 July 2021 in Chambers County, Texas, right?
Yes.
And she was 63 years of age, right?
Yes.
Now, at the time she died, she was domiciled and lived in Chambers County, Texas, correct?
Yes.
I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
And she owned property in Chambers County, Texas.
Yes.
And when I say property, real and personal, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to look at the document dated 18 May 2021 that purports to be her last will and testament?
Yes.
Judge, do you have that in front of you?
I don't have in front of you.
Okay.
It's right here.
All right. And that document has the witnesses, Richard G. Baker, which is me, and Zach M. Zabronic, correct?
Yes.
And you're familiar with your mother's financial affairs and business affairs, is that right?
Yeah.
And that is her last will and testament, correct?
Yes.
And she never revoked it, correct?
Yes. That's correct.
Right. Now, I'm going to ask you a silly question, but after the date of that will, your mother did not have any children born to or adopted by her. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And she had 2 children, you and your brother, Dennis Eric Andrews, right?
Yes.
All right. And y'all are both named as devisees in the will. And then you also have, for an interest in a remainder interest, you have your mother's sister, Billy Juanita Parker, named. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And your mother, she was unmarried at the time she died, correct?
Yes.
And she never applied for or received Medicaid benefits on or after March 1st of 2005. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and right now, you kind of in transition, you still have a Chambers County address, but now you have a new mailing and residential address of 103 Bessie Price.
Thank you.
Owen.
Yeah, two more. Sorry.
Hang on just a minute, Mr. Baker. Melinda, would you mute yourself, please?
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Allison's
quite
on.
all right. All right. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Baker.
All right, just to clarify, you have a change of address. You're in transition. You're a Chambers County resident, but then you've just recently moved your residential and mailing address to 103 Bessie Price Owen Drive, Montgomery, Texas 77356. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And again, you have full knowledge of your mother's financial affairs, and there's no need for an administration. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I have a proposed proof of death and other facts that you have read. Have you read that this morning?
Yes.
And do you adopt it as your testimony?
Yes.
Is everything in it true?
Yes.
All right. Judge, we ask that you admit the will to probate as a muniment of title and that you waive any requirement of affidavit of distribution, because there's not really anything to distribute. Everything went to, the majority of it went to Eric and Jennifer, and then Billy got a little interest in a remainder interest that we don't know what that future holds on that.
All right, everybody approve the will as muniment of title.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Jennifer.
Thank you.
All right, cause number 98, the state of Rita Valerie, aka Valerie. Counselor, where's Mr. Dowden? Mr. Dowden, are you on?
There's somebody that's joined by phone only. I'm not sure. Phone number ending in 998.
Who's the phone number ending 998? I see the Skinner's on, but
They just left there.
I don't see the attorney. Mr. Dowden? All right, Mr. Skinner, would you see if you can call your attorney?
Okay, Lisa, need to call.
And see if he can get on?
He's not
All
on.
right, if you'll,
Yes, sir.
if y'all will mute yourself, we will move on and give him a few minutes. All right, calls number 21, CPR 0099, State of James Sanders. Morning, Mr. Davidson.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well. May I proceed?
You may proceed, Counsel.
All right. Please state your name for the court.
Debbie Lee Morrison, Knapp.
Ms. Knapp, you're one of the co-applicants for this application for probate of your father's will as a muniment of title only. Is that right?
Yes.
And your father, James Rayburn Sanders, died on November 18th, 2018, Baytown, Harris County, Texas, at the age of 84 years. Is that right?
Correct.
And clearly 4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death, have they?
No.
And this court has jurisdiction in venue in that your father had a fixed place of residence in Chambers County at the time of his death. Is that right?
Correct.
Your father didn't apply for or receive any Medicaid benefits on or after March 1st, 2005, did he?
No.
And he left a valid last will and testament dated November 11th, 2004, the original of which has been deposited with the court. Is that right?
Yes.
And I've got a copy of it here. Do you recognize that as being your father's signature?
Yes.
Your Honor, we would ask that you take judicial notice that you've got the original will in your file.
Yes, sir. Somebody.
There were no children born to or adopted by your father after the date of this will, were there?
No.
And there was no marriage dissolved after the date of the will, was there?
No.
Okay. Neither the state, a governmental agency, or charitable organization is named in this will as a devisee, are they?
No.
And there are no unpaid debts due and owing by your father that wouldn't otherwise be secured by real property, are there?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, we're asking that you admit this will to probate as a muniment of title only and that the affidavit of fulfillment be waived.
So done. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Cause number 100, the state of George Delbert Laskowski.
Your Honor,
Morning,
if it would be okay with you, I've got the next case too, which is Louise Laskowski's.
You want to take them
And-
both at the same time?
Yes, sir. 'Cause
100 and 101.
Yes, Dee Dee is my witness on both of them.
Okay, yes, sir. We on both of those.
Are we ready?
We're ready. You may proceed.
All right. Dee Dee, your your given name is Deanna Louise Laskowski, right?
Yes,
And we call you Dee Dee Laskowski, right?
yes,
All right. And you're asking for the probate of your parents' wills, and your father, George Delbert Laskowski, also known as George Delbert Laskowski Sr. or Delbert Laskowski. He died first, and then your mother, Louise Clymer Laskowski, also known as Lou or Louise C. Laskowski, she died later. Is that correct?
that's correct.
All right. And they were married to each other for decades, and this was their only marriage, correct?
Yes,
And the marriage ended by your father's death, correct?
that's correct.
All right. Now, your father was born August 25th, 1935 in Anahuac, Texas, and died 22 October 2020 in Chambers County, Texas at age 85. Is that correct?
Yes,
And then your mama, she was born 16 December 1938 in Anahuac, and she died 20 February 2021 in Chambers County, Texas at the age of 82 years, right?
yes,
Okay, now I'm going to ask you, well, let's go to the wills. Have you looked at those documents? They're both dated,
Yes.
different documents. Rita Sandlin or Rita Brown at the time prepared them, it looks like. But their documents are dated October 30th of 1974. You see that?
yes.
And you have as the
Skip over to the
can y'all hear okay?
Yeah, somebody just muted, muting themselves, so we're good.
All right. Now, each of those wills is witnessed by Louise L. Hall and L.J. Hall, correct?
That's correct.
And Rita's the notary. And Your Honor, I'll ask you to look at that. Those are self-proving. Rita Sandlin or Rita Brown at the time is the notary public on those.
Yes,
And,
yes, sir. That's noted for the record.
And there's a complication on this, Your Honor, and we'll go into it. But the wills are fine, but the two executors named in there are both both died. Now, the first one was Louise, of course, she's dead, but her mother, Beatrice Clymer, was named as an alternative executrix, and she died. I guess when did she die? She died back in
2017? Was it
Yeah, I have
2007?
the application. Yeah, let me go through the application because I probated her estate. Yeah, she died. Beatrice Clymer died October 31st of 2007 at age 88 in Chambers County, Texas. Is that correct, Dee Dee?
Yes, yes.
And so what we have here, Judge, is a situation when I get through proving all this up that we're going to have a will admitted to probate with letters of administration with the will annexed because Dee Dee needs to become the administrator, but she was not named as an executrix in the either will. And so it's a very unusual situation. Now,
yes, sir.
All right. Now, Dee Dee, after the date of the wills, is it true that your parents had no other children born to or adopted to them?
Yes, no, they have no more children.
That's right.
Yes, no.
It's awkward. And of course, everybody in the family has a nickname. There are three children, you and then your brother, George Delbert Laskowski Jr., that we also know as Bubba, right?
Yes.
And then you got Alice Charlene Laskowski, we also know as Sissy.
Correct.
All right. Now, at the time your parents died, they resided there at the place on 61 there in Chambers County, right?
That's correct.
And you're familiar with the financial affairs and of both your parents. Is that right?
Yes.
Is it really the only reason we're having to do an administration is because there is what we call a hog suit pending where Miss Christine Rollins was attacked by, or allegedly attacked by, some feral hogs on the property, and she was assisting your parents with their living, and one of her people, heirs, sued your parents, and the only way we can defend and get rid of that lawsuit is by you being, or someone being, appointed administrator of their estates. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Otherwise, we could just do a muniment of title and pass the title to the property and we'd be done, right?
Yes.
Right, because there's really no debts to pay or anything like that. It's just we have to get rid of this lawsuit, and this lawsuit, there's not much, if there's no merit to it, we still have to deal with it, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now the judge in the will, in Delbert's will, when Louise survived him, so she was the sole beneficiary of Delbert's estate. Okay, and I'm asking you to say that in the order, and then in Louise's will, since Delbert predeceased her, then the sole beneficiaries of her estate are her three children, Dee Dee, Bubba, and Sissy. So I'm asking you to also put that in the order.
Yes.
Now, all right. The other thing is we've got to set a bond. Dee Dee, is there anything, I mean, is there going to be any property at risk, or you're going to have to set some sort of a bond, but there's not like you're going to manage a bunch of cash or anything like that, is there?
Oh, no.
Okay. I mean, you've got some money in a bank account, and you've got 7 acres there of land, and there's some mineral interest, and there's some royalties being paid on the mineral interest, right?
That's correct.
And then as soon as these wills are admitted to probate, we're going to do some division orders and take care of that.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, Your Honor, I would ask that in each estate, you set a nominal bond, corporate or cash. And if she has to go buy one, I guess Western Surety is a company that sells those things still, but I haven't had to have a bond in a long time.
So, do you have any idea what, and you may have said it and I missed it, liquid assets there are?
Dee Dee, how much cash is laying around?
There might be $10,000 now left.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so then that's the amount of the bond that we should have.
Okay. And we can just do a corporate surety bond like that, and she can buy one from Western Surety or whoever sells them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is going to be a dependent administration. And so that's a complication, but that's what we're asking for. And Dee Dee, is it true that your address is, it's on Otter Road, 907 Otter Road, and your mailing, Anahuac, Texas 77514, and your mailing address is P.O. Box 73, Anahuac, Texas 77514?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, have you read in each probate the proposed proof of death and other facts that I'm going to ask you to sign and we're going to file in these probates?
Yes, I have.
Are they true?
Yes.
Do you adopt them as your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, we ask that you admit the wills to probate and that you authorize letters of administration with the will annexed to Deanna Louise Laskowski, also known as Dee Dee Laskowski.
Go down.
Okay. And the blank in the order for filling in the bond amount.
Yes, sir.
All right. In each. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dee Dee. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. I'm going to sign off.
All right. Okay, cause number 102, this interest of Ian Rance, Seal, a minor. Mr. Benoit, good morning.
Actually, Mr. Williams here today, strangely enough.
I see that. And I saw you on there, but I saw the name on them. So you may proceed, Mr. Williams.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. My name's Daniel Williams. I'm here on behalf of Ian Rance Hill. He inherited an interest in his father's real estate, a 2.2 acre tract in Anahuac. So we're asking that his mother be appointed or authorized to sign a real estate transaction on his behalf. His interest in the property is a 1/10. The purchaser of the property is Mr. Thomas D. Richards. It's for cash. The appraised value, according to the appraisal district, is $217,950. The price that's been offered is $265,000. The child's proceeds after all of the cost of the transaction should be $4,424.80. And the money will be deposited into the registry of the court, and we ask that she be authorized to sign the documents today on his behalf.
So done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so the next one's the same.
Next one's the same. All the information is indeed the same. The child's name is Mally Kate Hill. She also inherited a 1/10 interest. Her proceeds will also be $4,424.80. And we're expecting to close that today. All the answers and information would be the same if I were to do it again.
Okay, and that's cause number 103 for the record, and that's approved also. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, if I could ask one question, I'm certain that that's going to happen this way, but can I make sure that the order signed today? The buyer is super excited about buying this thing, and I'm going to close it this afternoon. So I need to make sure that those get signed today, so she's authorized.
Yeah, I'll get Melinda, if you'll bring those up immediately, I'll get them signed. She can get them to you.
You're a good man. Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate you.
Well, that's debatable, but thank you, Dan.
Thank you much.
Take care. No, I don't have, Melinda, I don't have anything in my queue. I don't know why, but it's
because I'm sorry, Judge, my bad. I'll get them there, but I'll bring those originals up.
Yeah, let's get Danny taken care of. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's go back to cause number 21 CPR 098, the state of Rita Valerie, AKA Retha May Valerie. Mr. Dowden, are you on now? I saw you somewhere. There he is.
I'm assuming, Judge, that Mr. Hastings' office has.
Mr. Delton had to get on another hearing. I don't know what I should do.
He got to get on another hearing.
His other hearing started at 11. It shouldn't take very long. It's just a friendly suit hearing.
So his other hearing's more important than this? Kidding. All right, let me just mute yourself. Sue Skinner, you got time to stay on while we're waiting?
Yes, if you could just give him maybe 5 minutes.
That's fine. So we'll just stay connected, tell him to get on, let us know when he's done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. You're Terry Lewis, is that true?
How you doing?
Good about you?
I'm doing good.
Gonna bring us to go, Should be about 5 minutes.
Still waiting.
Okay, where's that file? Golly,
You had it.
here it is right here.
Got it.
Okay, yeah. Darius, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you doing today?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Good, good. And there's Dad. Mr. Skinner, you doing all right today? Oh,
He's muted.
he is muted. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm doing fine.
Good, good. Good to see you.
Same here.
I'm sorry for the delay. I had a hearing scheduled at 11 o'clock and just finished it. I'm so sorry. Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I'm so sorry to be such an inconvenience this morning. I had a hearing with Judge Wortham at 11 and on a med-mal case, and I'm sorry to hold everyone up. I apologize.
Yeah, I know. Judge Wortham's more important than county. Actually, we wouldn't have been late anyway if I was in a commissioner's court meeting that ran over late. So
First thing, there you go. First things first, huh?
so it's all good. I will let me find my paperwork here. All right, cause number 21 CPR 0098, the state of Rita Valerie, aka Aretha May Valerie. You may proceed, Counselor.
Okay,
Do we
Judge.
need to swear him in, Judge? I'm sorry.
They were all, you've been sworn in. Mr. Skinner, were y'all both sworn in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They were on a while ago.
Okay.
You may proceed, Counselor.
Okay, Judge, if I could, I'll call Darius Skinner first. You're Darius Skinner, is that true?
Yes.
And Mr. Skinner, you're with us from Florida this morning, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and you're the applicant in this case, and I believe that you are the great nephew of the decedent Rita Valera, also known as Retha Valera. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so we have previously sent you a proof of death and other facts to look over. Do you have that document with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So I understand that Rita Valera passed away on or about June 7th, 2021 in Beaumont, Jefferson County, Texas. Is that true?
Yes.
And she was 79 years of age when she passed away. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and of course, 4 years haven't elapsed since the day she passed, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we believe that we've filed application to probate her will in the proper court in Chambers County because she lived here lived in Winnie, Jefferson, Chambers County when she passed away. Is that right?
Yes.
And in fact, had been living there for many, many years. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and so we believe that she died testate. That's to say she had a last will and testament that she had signed on August 20th back in 2018. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, and that will that we filed with the court names you as the executor and the primary beneficiary. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, and so we believe we complied with the provisions of the Texas Estates Code as far as our filing and the length of time we've waited between the filing and the setting of the hearing and all of that. Is that right?
Yes.
And I understand that Ms. Blar had actually been in an accident prior to her passing away and had retained an attorney that was representing her in this matter. And so now with her passing, there's a need for administration of her estate to gather up the assets, make sure the debts are paid, carry out the terms of the will. But the immediate problem is we need to have an administrator appointed to, I think, obtain some medical records so that case that she had is prosecuting could be further prosecuted. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, and so the will, what we've got I think a copy of the will that we filed, and but it's a valid will signed by 2 disinterested witnesses and notarized. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and your aunt was, of course, we said 79 years old, so she was more than 18 years of age when she signed the will, right?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did she ever revoke that will or modify that will in any way after the date of execution of the will?
No.
And the will does not name any state or governmental agency or charitable organization as a devotee. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so, and of course, after the date of the will, she didn't adopt any children or take any into her home and raise them or anything like that. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And she was married to her husband, Harry, but they were married whenever she passed away. She didn't have a marriage that was dissolved after the date of the will. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, there's some testimony we're about to get from your dad who witnessed the signing of the will. We've provided all the information and proof necessary for the probate of the will and the issuance of letters testamentary. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, that's all the testimony. Well, I need to ask you about your oath, I guess. We've also sent you an oath, and I guess you promised Judge Sylvia that you'll take care of the affairs of Ms. Villari's estate to the best of your ability, right?
Yes.
And again, as far as you know, the writing which has been offered for probate is her last will and testament, right?
Yes.
Okay, Judge, that's all the questions I have of Mr. Darius Skinner. And so if I could, unless you need any additional testimony or information, I'll call Mr. Ephraim Skinner.
No, sir. I think you covered it, and you may proceed with
Okay.
other Mr. Skinner.
Mr. Skinner, when I talked to you last night, I said Ephraim. Is that the correct? I asked my wife this morning. Oops.
It's
Okay, I asked
Ephraim.
my wife this morning, should I be pronouncing Ephraim or Ephraim? So is it Ephraim?
Ephraim.
Ephraim, and it's actually Pastor Ephraim Skinner. I understand two things. You're a pastor, right? And like myself, a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Is that right?
Yes and no.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Okay.
Well, I'll let that comment slide because I'm
okay. Right. Thank you, Judge.
I actually like them both.
Thank you.
I don't like either of them sometimes.
There you go. Well, the Saints are in Dallas practicing now, I understand. So anyway,
Well, somebody had to use that stadium.
there you go. There you go. Okay.
You mean a real team?
Yeah, there you go. Well, so Mr. Skinner, I understand that you were present back on August 20th, 2018, when Ms. Villar executed her last will and testament. Is that right?
Yes.
And you were there present and along with the other witness, Ms. Lisa Skinner, your wife. Is that true?
Yes.
And I noticed on the will a lady named Yvette Sonier was the notary public. Is that right?
Yes.
And Ms. Villari executed that will, I understand, in front of you and two witnesses and the notary public, and you and Ms. Skinner witnessed the will in front of each other and in front of Ms. Villari. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And so, and you don't have any interest in the estate, is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. And so you have in front of you, I believe, a proof by subscribing witness that we sent you.
Yes.
And is everything in that document within your knowledge and true and correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Judge, that's all I have. Unless you need anything further from us, we'd ask the court to admit the will to probate and order the issuance of letters testamentary to Mr. Darius Skinner so he can move forward with the estate.
So done.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate it very much.
Skinners, you folks have a good day.
Thank you.